Welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
And Star Wars Celebration happened today.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Michael wants to sing his Getting Into the Podcast song.
Gotta get into character.
We are finally live streaming this episode, and it better work the whole time because I tested it a lot, so it better keep working. So for those just listening in the future, we will tweet when we go live to record an episode if you would like to watch us on YouTube. It's just two guys sitting in a room talking to themselves. So it's riveting stuff. Mm-hmm. So Star Wars Celebration started today.
I still have Harmon Quest pulled up on my iPad. Have you watched any of that yet? Harmon Quest?
No.
It's Dan Harmon's show on CISO where they play D&D.
Oh, that's right. Well, that's what Harmon was. They did that on Harmontown some too, didn't they?
They played D&D in Harmontown for a while, and then now there's a show where they did a D&D session, like a bunch of people together, and then they have like a guest person show up, and they animate the story like as they're doing it.
Cool.
It's really cool.
That's cool. There's a lot of D&D.
Yeah, there's Penny Arcades
now. Penny Arcade, Achievement Hunter's doing one.
Yeah.
Harmon Quest.
And Harmon Quest too.
That's kind of cool. That's all coming back. Penny Arcades is really good, but that's because they have like the DM from Wizards of the Coast
right.
DMing their
like the best DM you could hope for.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's really good.
Chris Perkins. So, anyways, D&D,
Star
not
Wars.
the podcast topic, but the first day of celebration started today, and a lot of cool stuff. I am totally excited for Rogue One finally.
You weren't before?
No. I talked about that. I was kind of like, I don't know how it's good. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it.
Right, you could give or take it.
I didn't know how I felt about it yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked cool, and it looked like Star Wars, but I knew the music wasn't going to be John Williams, and I wasn't really sure because it's another off story, and they kind of have to prove themselves with these other movies since it's not a...
Yeah, it's the first other movie.
Yeah, it's the first non-trilogy, non-main story,
right?
Jedi-based, storyline thing. So after the Rogue One panel, I'm a lot more excited about it.
Oh, we were talking to each other as we were watching the panel at our separate places of business, and
this same room is my place of business.
Yeah, I was in your bathroom. I don't know if you knew that.
That's your place of business?
That's where I do my business. Hopefully, you knew that. Anyway,
talk later.
I was in there. Shitting and stuff. And we were both talking to each other, talking about how we were getting chills at the opening sequence.
That opening crawl was so cool.
And they had director Krennic come out, Ben Mendelsohn, in full costume with a squad of Death Troopers with him. It was incredible.
Yeah. For those that didn't see it, the panel, I think they will put it back up. There were some spoilery things that happened in the panel, and they were going to replay the panel later that same evening.
Yeah.
And it went private during the replay, so people couldn't watch it because of the spoilery things. So
really?
I think they're going to piece it back together and re-release it.
Are they going to cut out some stuff, you think?
So. But I know the opening crawl is out there. It started out with the opening crawl from A New Hope. Yeah. And then when it got to the section that talked about the spies that went to go get the plans, it started glitching out, and there were war and battle sounds of people yelling and gunfire, and then that wah, wah alarm started going off, and they were yelling and screaming, and then it cut out. It was
so cool. I'm getting chills thinking about it.
Definitely go watch it. It was that alone just got me excited for it because it sounded like war.
Yeah.
And I think this, even though the first teaser showed some of the war sequences and stuff like that, seeing it a little more, it definitely looks like the Star Wars war film that we haven't, they've been talking about. That's what it's going to be. Right. But kind of finally seeing it. Seeing that dude that looks like basically the Star Wars Rocket Raccoon on that giant gun in the... Yeah. And basically it's shot from Full Metal Jacket. It's almost exactly a shot from Full Metal Jacket. The same looking gun and everything of the guy in the helicopter.
From the copter when they're going into Vietnam. Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It looks just like that. So that little alien's awesome. It's really cool. I wonder if that was...
He didn't look that small.
Was that Warwick, that guy?
He didn't look that small, though.
He was ish. Maybe not.
Was he? I didn't pay attention to his costume. It was such a quick
is
shot.
More of a creature actor, though. He's not always to size in the costumes.
Well, usually, unless he's on soapboxes or something.
Lifts. I don't know. Space lifts.
I guess. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to his costume that much. It looked different than what it showed when he didn't have his head on.
Maybe. I don't know. Whoever it was pretty.
Anyway,
cool.
They had this whole behind the scenes clip.
Yeah, they had
a bunch of shots.
Supposedly there was a trailer. They didn't have a trailer. What they showed everyone was what they called a sizzle reel. It was just like last Celebration when they showed the behind the scenes of The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Where they showed like them shooting stuff and
there were cutaways with some of the actors and Gareth and some other people talking.
There's a lot of different like pictures of various people that are just in the film, not the main people, but just like different creatures and aliens, and they're just like flipped through a bunch of different shots of various beings in the universe, which was kind of cool.
Right.
Didn't see any more of the. We did see some of. I'm gonna forget his name now. K2SO. That's his name, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is Alan Tudyk's character.
Yeah.
Which sounds like Mr. Bones.
It's
not the wanting to kill everything constantly, Mr. Bones.
Right.
But
Mr. Bones being a character from Aftermath,
yes.
and also
Mr.
in
Bones,
Life
awesome.
Debt.
Yes, he is in Life Debt.
Okay. Yeah.
So Cassian, his like best friend in the Rebel in the Alliance, is his droid that he reprogrammed.
Yeah, Cassian is the captain who's kind of leading the group a little bit.
And he reprogrammed K2SO, basically stripped him of his evil properties because he was a Imperial droid.
Yeah.
Like reprogrammed him, but maybe didn't do the best of job in stripping some of his stuff because now he is a robot that...
Well, it seemed like what he was saying was that he stripped away all his like personality inhibitors.
Yeah,
to where
so he kind of
allowed
like a
him
cranky
to,
old man now.
Yeah, it allowed him to just say whatever he was thinking and not be very, not really be polite. And
like Alan Tudyk's description of him was, if you asked him to hold the bags, he would just be like, no. Which in one of and there was a clip of K2SO where like Cassian shoved a bag into his hands and he stood there holding it, looked down, and then just dropped it on the ground.
And kind of like flicked away his hands like he didn't want it.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
That was really cool.
Yeah, that whole panel was... I wasn't where you were, where, you're saying you weren't as hyped. Yeah, you could take it or leave it. I was actually excited about it, but then seeing this made me even that much more excited about it.
Yeah, seeing the
familiar costumes, the familiar sets.
Yes, and part of my thing was the director as well. He's okay as far as I've been concerned so far with his films.
I think he makes great movies.
I think he's all right, but I wasn't sure because of the types of movies he has made. I wasn't sure how he would translate Star Wars.
Oh, sure.
But it looked like Star Wars.
Yeah.
All the shots and like even just some of those shots that are like with the classic Star Wars like wide shots of someone standing somewhere type thing. Like those big crane shots it was very Star Wars, which was nice to see.
Yeah. There was a question, Gwendolyn in the panel asked Kathleen Kennedy, why Gareth Edwards? Why did you choose Gareth Edwards for this project? And she kind of, in so many words, explained, we wanted that style, that kind of different take on Star Wars that we knew that he could provide, that he's done in all of his other movies. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what we were kind of going for. We were hoping he could bring that.
They wanted it to be the war movie, the gritty war movie.
So they were going for what it turned out to be, all along.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that kind of, that's kind of been the theme, I guess, through the whole production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had the full like main team cast there.
Yeah.
Jiang Wen and Donnie Yen, right?
Donnie Yen, yeah.
Donnie Yen. I forget.
Only the best actor ever.
It's Alan Tudyk is awesome. He's hilarious and he's a great actor. But Donnie Yen did not get as big of applause as he should have for being in everything awesome ever.
Well, sort of. He's a really
good actor.
Great martial artist. He's a great choreographer. Yes. He's a very, very martial arts movie he's been in is incredible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's amazing.
The Krennic thing was awesome though. Him coming in the full outfit with the whole guard behind him.
The Death Troopers look so incredible in real life.
That First Order troopers looked really cool. I think Death Troopers look even cooler.
Yeah.
Which I
and maybe it was
think
the size
possible.
of the people in the costumes, but they just looked so intimidating.
They were very menacing, and they did definitely seem taller.
They were
right?
they were
seemed
tall.
taller
They
than
seemed
regular
like
stormtroopers.
well built. Maybe it could have been the armor. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can just imagine those muscles under there. Oh,
just like Phasma.
wait, what?
Wait,
What are we talking about?
I'm back.
Anyway,
All right.
yeah, they had the whole cast, the main group cast up there, and then Ben came out a little later. They had Mads Mikkelsen up there.
Yep.
It was confirmed that
So they didn't kill him after his spoiler on another
Right.
news story. He's still alive.
it's confirmed. I mean, it's been talked about forever, but he's what's her name's father?
Jyn Erso's father. He's
Galen. I think.
Galen Erso.
Yeah.
And I love how they're like, it's finally confirmed. You are like we just confirmed it. You are her father. I'm like, you screwed up, and we're now saying you were right. You are her father. Everyone.
It's okay now.
You're okay now.
It wasn't before, but now it is.
Now it's okay. It was interesting though that because they kind of let each actor talk about their character a little bit, and none of them were sure what they were allowed to say. They all acted like they weren't coached beforehand. But they were all like.
Well, no, I think it was coming from a place of all their contracts probably say you are not allowed to talk about anything.
Yeah,
in
but
this
then they
movie.
get there and they're not sure what they're allowed to talk about, and Kathleen's like, "Oh, say something. Go ahead, just tell them a little bit." And people were like,
They all looked over at her every
Mama
time.
Kathleen, like,
Yeah.
Mother, may I?
Exactly. They all looked over here like, what can I? Is it all right if I talk about?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, Alan Tudyk talking about K2SO being the, like, cranky old man robot who kind of speaks his mind. And then Mads, said he's Jin's father. But I thought it was interesting what he said was he's an engineer or a scientist that created something beautiful.
Did he say that actually at the panel?
Word beautiful that would change the universe.
Interesting. I wonder what that is.
So I'm guessing it's something
Did he
that wasn't...
synthesize kyber crystals, maybe?
Maybe it's something that wasn't meant to be a weapon, but the Empire knew that it would maybe power or be able to be used for a weapon. So I think we talked about that before in our last episode.
Yeah, I wonder if he synthesized...
We thought he created whatever they turned into the Death Star's laser, like planet-destroying laser.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I don't know if we mentioned this on the last episode or not, but I went back in Tarkin and looked up, and they do mention kyber crystals.
Okay.
In there. I don't know. Did we talk about that last episode? I can't remember now.
I know we talked about the kyber crystal.
Yeah.
They were mining them. Supposedly they're mining kyber crystals.
Right.
And we talked about Jin's father supposedly being some kind of scientist or something that created... We thought he created the weapon, like that technology, but it sounds like the way he said he created something beautiful that would change the universe, it almost sounds like he didn't mean to create what would power the biggest weapon in the universe.
Well, it's been said before about his character that he created something that both the Empire and the Rebels want.
Yeah.
And we talked about
he was a person of interest.
We talked about last time that maybe it was the Rebels wanted it to keep it away from the Empire. Mm-hmm. We don't know, but yeah, I don't know what it could be.
Cassian, the guy that plays Cassian, I forget his name.
Diego Luna.
He didn't really say anything too interesting about his character.
No, I mean, he kind of explained the thing about K2.
He has an Imperial patch on his outfit.
He was a pilot.
He was a pilot that
was Riz Ahmed's character.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I forget his
he had an Imperial patch, and he he
flew
was a pilot,
like cargo.
He flew stuff for the Empire, but wasn't part of the Empire. Basically,
yeah, like a contractor.
Yeah,
basically.
Did Diego really say much about his character?
Not a whole lot. He did pretty well.
He was one of the first ones, and he didn't say much, and then it just kind of slowly degenerated
into everyone talking about everything.
We didn't get, all that much about Jyn, other than same old we usually get.
Yeah, they didn't talk
focus
about
on her really at all.
No.
But I think that's because we know who she is, and she's the focus of all the trailers. So it's like, let's find out what the other team's about. Since
I guess
we know you're just some girl that's being brought in to do this thing.
Right.
Of course, Ben Mendelsohn mentions that he's a different sort of villain.
He says he likes to think he's smarter than all the other villains. Than most of them.
He does things differently than other Star Wars villains.
Yeah. I still don't know how he fits in with with the Imperial leadership that we know about so far,
Yeah.
So,
Krennic said he's smarter than most of the Imperials and more inventive.
Yeah.
Which sounds like
Thrawn.
Maybe.
Doesn't it?
I don't know how to take inventive, if that means like inventive in the way he kills or tortures people, like more so than just like probing them for information,
I don't know.
if he's inventive as in like actually being really smart about doing stuff.
Yeah, that's what I think.
They teased Gareth Edwards teased James Earl Jones recording dialogue for Vader.
Yep. Yeah, Vader's confirmed now, even though it's been talked about for forever.
Exactly. Forrest Whitaker talked about Saw Gerrera a little bit and how, you know, there's different rebel groups and they all come together to form the Alliance, basically, and how he's the leader of his group. And
like we were talking about last time, he's the leader of the more ruthless, I guess, rebellion group.
Where it gets messy is we get down to Donnie Yen, who plays Jeddah.
So I wrote this down. So Donnie Yen plays Chirrut, is his character's name. Yeah. Jeddah is this new planet.
Oh, that's where they grew up. That's right. His accent was throwing me when he was talking about stuff because he kept...
Oh, yeah.
It was...
Well, I don't know if it's where he grew up, but it's where we find Chirrut and Baze, who's the other character. We'll talk about him in a second. but they all end up at this planet called Jeddah, which is... It's described by Donnie, I think, as this kind of place that people pilgrimage to. It's kind of like the Mecca of the Star Wars universe.
I'm assuming that's that planet with all the water and the desert and all that.
It's the sandy planet. I don't know if it's the one with the beach or not.
The one with all those stormtroopers standing in the water, which
I
is
think
a
that's
freaking
the
cool shot.
Yeah.
That picture is amazing. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and it's all real, like Gareth was saying.
Oh yeah, because like the sky is super dark, and people say it looks like it's photoshopped or something.
It does.
But there was a storm actually rolling in when they were shooting that.
Right. They showed that wide shot of the stormtroopers, just like 8 stormtroopers waiting in the water.
Yeah.
And the background is just this dark blue sky, and it looks like they just cut it out and did like a crappy blur tool.
It was in the Maldives, however you pronounce that, Maldives. Right?
Oh, Maldives. Yeah.
And he said they used like soldiers from there to play those stormtroopers.
That's cool.
And when he asked them, he's like, oh, it's cool. You're in Star Wars, right? They're like, what? They're like, Star Wars. You know Star Wars? No. He's like, you know stormtroopers? No.
Wow.
Do you know what you're doing? No. Do you feel silly? Yes.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
So like all those stormtroopers standing in the water were soldiers from the Maldives who had no idea what Star Wars was or what a stormtrooper was or nothing.
Wow.
Like they were just doing this thing because they were asked to do it.
Wow.
Basically.
So
Donnie,
they're at this planet, which I want to talk about real quick. They mentioned that it's a planet that people pilgrimage to, and the way he was talking about it, and the way Donnie was talking about his character, about being this kind of spiritual person who believes in the Force.
Like he's not a Jedi, but he
doesn't use the Force. He's not a Jedi, but he believes in it, and it sounds like the Church of the Force.
His Force use, I wouldn't say he doesn't use the Force because he's blind, and he says he like feels with his heart. And obviously we've seen him fight too. He's like, he's super blind, but he's kicking ass with his staff.
Maybe he's connected to the Force somehow, but
I think
he's not trained.
I think he's using the Force, quote, using the Force to see, basically.
Maybe.
But obviously not to the point of like lifting things but
he's not trained
reading minds or
he's not
like
a Jedi. Yeah. But I think it sounds like the Church of the Force, like Max von Sydow's
it could be
organization that he's a part of.
Erudites.
Yeah.
Which are mentioned in the beginning of Life Debt, because there's some on Jakku.
Right.
So then Donnie Yen talks, and then we've got Jiang Wen's character, who plays Baze. Who has a big gun.
That's what he kept saying. He kept saying that over and over in the panel.
Well, he said that over and over after
he was trying to make a joke.
Screwed things.
No, he was saying it before.
Well, he said he has a big gun, and then he was like, oh, what else can I say? And then he starts talking.
Yeah.
About his character.
He was trying to be funny.
He was
saying...
And he was also being really serious, too.
Well, he was trying to be funny about the big gun thing because he knew he couldn't talk about...
Yeah. He's like, oh, he has a big gun. And then he gets into, him and Donnie Yen's character, Chirrut, are like, they're really close. And he talks about how, Donnie is the one that, like, feels and thinks, and Baze just kind of is the one that acts because he has a big gun. He's just the one that acts. He's the one for action. And Donnie's the one for thinking and
And he also mentions as he's talking about that he's the kind of person who, like, he doesn't necessarily believe in the overall mission. He doesn't believe in the things that Donnie believes in. All of that
until
so as he's talking about this, he doesn't believe in all this.
I don't really believe in it, but when
But when this guy dies,
when he's dead,
and he points at
Donnie, and everyone on the panel just like crosses their legs and touches their face and like rubs their cheek, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he's gonna be dead when we're done with this."
Donnie sitting next to him just kind of clenches his fist when he says that,
and like then he like wipes his brow, and he's like, and so he's like, "Yeah, when he's dead, when he dead." Because he has a very thick accent, and English is not his first language. You know, he said, "When he dead, I usually one who acts," and he's like, and I start to take care of and believe more in what he, in the Force.
He basically steps
and he's
up.
Like, and then I have a big gun. I have big gun. I have big gun.
Well, and then
Gwendolyn cut in. She's like, I think that's all you can say.
Yeah.
So
basically, Donnie Yen dies in the movie.
I mean, okay, we can all assume that most of them probably die.
Yeah.
We expect that most of them won't make it through this because, obviously.
Yeah.
I would think that there would be some very heavy coaching before one of these panels.
You think so?
You'd be like, "Whoops. All right, Donnie, you're blind. You feel with your heart. Good. All right. Alan, you're a robot. You act like an old man. All right. What's the other guy's name? The guy that already screwed up his story.
Oh, Mads.
Mads. Yeah,
you already
fucked
screwed
it
up.
So you're Jen's father. Just say it again. We'll play it off like it's a new announcement.
And then you shut up and get out of there.
Yeah. Everyone else, you speak English as your first language. You're fine. Just don't screw this up for us. And then, you've got...
You just talk about your gun.
Yeah, Jong Win comes out and he's like, when he dead, like, oh!
No, why?
We told you, big gun, stick to the big gun.
Oh boy.
So I got off the panel and Kathleen probably was like, she looks like she could be very scary.
Maybe.
Like one of those CEO type people who's like, oh, super buddy nice, and you screw up, you're like, you.
She like purposely dresses down.
See the fire in her eyes suddenly, and you're like, oh, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, maybe.
I could see her being a very scary individual.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if she would be like that to someone.
Well, I mean, he didn't mean, it was an accident. He didn't mean to. He can't get fired for that because, not NDAs cover like purposely going out of your way to like release information.
Yeah.
But you would think there would be a little more control over, all right, these are the two things you can say about your character. Write it down. These are the two things you can say about your character. Write it down. These are the things you can say. All right, you don't speak English well. You're not going to talk. We're going to have a translator. He's going to say everything for you. Just say whatever you want. I don't know. It was very rough to watch. It's still on Twitter. They're trying to get it taken off of the internet, but that piece of him saying that I found on Twitter.
Well, maybe we assume that they're trying to, just because they haven't published the panel yet.
StarWars.com had a quote live blogging or like report from the panel, and when it got to what he said, they're like, and Zhang Wen, who plays Baze, just said that he has a big gun, haha, and like just moved on to the next character that they were talking about. So like they just ignored that he said that at all.
Yeah.
And like I said, the live stream was going to play again, but they made it private for the replay because I guess they're going to doctor it before.
Well, what's funny is, so when I get into work around 9:30, the Mark Hamill panel, which had happened at 6, was already up. That was Well, actually, no. That wasn't up on the Star Wars YouTube.
You probably could have scrolled back. They had like a 4-hour scroll back period.
If I'd done that on the live stream, yes. I watched the panel. Some other channel put it out. I thought it was a Star Wars one. I was gonna say they had put that out, so I'm surprised that they wouldn't have put out the Rogue One panel.
I mean, it was a live stream, so anyone could have recorded it.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere.
I assume they'll put them out.
I assume they're pulling
eventually.
it off. I'm sure they're trying to grab that down from most places, probably.
Maybe.
Because they were all so uncomfortable. It was so hard to watch because everyone was just suddenly like, oh, just like you could feel the sphincters tightening.
The second I heard that, because we were both watching it, the second I heard that, I thought, oh no. Oh no, you can't say that.
Oh no, buddy.
You can't say that. You really can't.
There's like, okay, rule number 1 when you're promoting
Gwendolyn,
a movie, don't say who dies in the movie.
Right. And then Gwendolyn cut in and everyone just kind of nervously laughed and moved on. Yeah. I think one of the best parts was when a stage ops person, they're all they all took like a big selfie or tried to at the end. They tried to
for like 10 minutes. Yeah. It was super annoying on the live stream.
But so they all tried to take a big selfie and then the stagehand pulled Gwendolyn
sneaking
aside
in behind the chairs, like trying to whisper to her.
And she grabbed Gwendolyn and they, like yelled straight into her mic, "Sizzle more! We need some more sizzle!"
She's like, "Play the sizzle again,
So,
sizzle!"
Yeah.
Like right in her,
right into her mic.
like on ear microphone.
Right.
Like, all right, we get it, sizzle. All right.
And then that's when at the end of the panel, Kathleen was, after that stagehand yelled into Gwendolyn's mic, Kathleen was like, "Yeah, you guys we've got a little bit of extra for you. You want to see this one little thing we got?" And then they cut the live stream and played the behind the scenes video again. And then, but the people at the panel saw this.
Well, she told everyone, she's like, "I see people with phones out. Put them away right now.
Right.
Put all of yours with you. Just for you. Put them away, please."
They were pretty restrictive about it.
Yeah, they put up that big. They put out that screen that said "Loose lips sink starships."
Yeah.
Which was, mentioned in Force Awakens when they were making that.
And you were seeing on Twitter that some people who were at the panel saw
someone
other people trying to record, and those people got their phones confiscated.
Like phones confiscated. I'm sure they were just like deleted the video and handed it back type thing. But,
yeah.
People that were caught, they didn't have night vision goggles on or anything. They just had flashlights like checking around. But when they saw people with phones, they were actually taking them and confiscating them. So they were pretty serious about it.
Did we ever find out what came out tonight?
So I haven't yet.
We should
because
probably
we're
do that
recording
right
this.
now.
Yeah.
So we're recording this on Friday night, and there was supposedly a Rogue One, some kind of footage thing happening on ABC, was it? They were playing the Force Awakens making of documentary. It was ABC, right?
It was on ABC because they were playing the Force Awakens, like you said, the Force Awakens documentary.
I mean, this doesn't really matter because everyone probably knows about this by the time this comes out. This is more for our benefit. But they were supposed to play some kind of Rogue One footage, and we were trying to figure out if it was the behind-the-scenes junk that they played at the panel, or if this was a new trailer.
It doesn't look like they played the trailer at all.
Nothing?
Not the trailer.
Is it anything new? Can we watch it now? You want to pause this and watch it?
No, they didn't show the trailer on the ABC. I've confirmed.
What was it?
It looks like it was the same thing.
Behind the scenes?
It's possible I'm seeing some people say they didn't show. Some people, I would have to research on Twitter, on the internet more, but it seems like some people were saying like they didn't show anything or didn't show Rogue One trailer, or they may have just shown that behind the scenes thing again.
So you can't tell if it's nothing new or if it's...
It seems like nothing new. So what happened is at the end of, like we said, at the end of the panel, they cut it and played a trailer just for people on site. And it apparently it showed like some stuff. It focused on Jyn, and apparently it showed some stuff with her as a child. And then at the very end, it showed like Darth Vader from behind, like in his reflection on like the slick floor of him at some panel, like looking out a big bay window. Presumably he's on the Death Star, but it was Darth Vader standing there from the back, and just an outline and him breathing. Okay. And then it ended.
Nice.
So we didn't get to see any Darth Vader action, anything like that.
There's nothing on the Star Wars YouTube channel.
Yeah.
They have all the interviews that they did leading up to and then after the panel.
Yeah. They've
got the behind the scenes reel up there. A few other things. But
they didn't show the trailer. I just saw someone from tweeting an hour ago. This is at 10:20 p.m. when that Star Wars thing on ABC ended at 9 p.m. Someone said they didn't show it on the ABC special. But the reason I saw people on Twitter who were actually at Celebration were saying there were unfinished effects in the trailer they did show at Celebration. There was, some just unfinished effects, special effects, things like that. So if there's unfinished effects, they're definitely not going to show that on TV. They probably just showed the behind the scenes thing again. But so at this point, to get obviously they have this teaser put together with unfinished effects. They're probably going to finish those, and that'll be the eventual teaser we get. It wasn't long. It wasn't like a full trailer. It was still a teaser. So the only next event that people can think that would appear at would be San Diego Comic-Con, which is fairly far off, right?
Is Star Wars going to have a presence there?
I'm sure. They've got to have a Rogue One panel.
You think so?
Yeah, they had. Didn't they have a Star Wars panel, Force Awakens panel last year?
Yeah, but that was the only Force Awakens panel. that happened
at
at
Celebration.
all. Well, I guess there was the one at the
Comic-Con.
Disney Expo.
Yeah.
Was there one there?
I would think they would have something at Comic-Con. I mean, every big movie has something at Comic-Con. Every big nerd-related movie and even some non-nerd-related movies have stuff at Comic-Con. It's just turned into a non-comic, like just anything that has to do with geek or nerd culture in any way, shape, or form, which is now just culture.
Just all culture.
Yeah, it's just turned into the culture convention.
Sickening.
Yeah. San Diego Culture Convention. That's what it stands for now.
The culture convention.
It's just the culture convention.
That's so sad.
Yeah. San Diego
It's
Culture
true.
Convention. That's what it is. It's, they show trailers, they show movies, and it's not just comics anymore.
Right.
But I would hope they would have something. Otherwise, there's no event or thing happening that would call for a Star Wars trailer release, unless it was just a random, hey, look, it's Wednesday, here's a trailer. Oh, the Star Wars show, here's a trailer for the Star Wars show.
Who knows?
Because they have that every Wednesday, right? Star Wars show.
Who knows? I don't watch it.
No, I've watched a couple. It's all right. It's very short, so it's not that hard to not watch it. They have people on because it's like at Lucasfilm. So,
Yeah, it's in the Lucasfilm offices.
yeah, so like they have Gareth Edwards come by, or they have Pablo stop by,
Yeah.
and various other people. So I mean, it's cool to see those people. So I don't know when else you would put a trailer out other than San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that calls for a trailer. Like there's no event happening
other than
movie, or I mean, like
before it comes out.
Like Rebels isn't coming soon. Like
Right.
we're not gonna. Yeah, we don't have anything Star Warsy releasing that would call for a trailer to come with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
And there were some bootlegs of that trailer from Celebration, but they were really horrible, crappy potato phone shots of like their phones like cockeyed and like upside down, and
because they're like trying to hold it with their armpits or something.
Yeah, I mean, because their phone would have gotten taken away otherwise. So it was super blurry. So, and most of those have been taken down. So I haven't been able to find a way. I mean, I don't. Obviously, it was just for them, and that makes sense. But I would like to see it. I think we all would like to see it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen anytime relatively soon. I wonder if they meant for it to be ready to be released, and they couldn't finish it.
I don't know. It does seem kind of close. I mean, 6 months or less to finish up all these effects. I mean, who knows where in the post-production they are, but it just seems like kind of a short amount of time to get all this finished up.
They even had trouble playing it at Celebration. They were supposed to play it like halfway through the panel, and they accidentally played the sizzle again.
That's just live.
Yeah. They played
live
the sizzle.
stuff.
They literally played the sizzle
3 times for us.
3 times for us, and 3 times for the people there, because they played it near the beginning. Then Ben Mendelsohn, it's like, all right, cue up the sizzle. And they they cue up the thing. They played that again. I think that's when they were supposed to play it. And then at the end, when they were supposed to, and apparently, obviously for the live stream, it's a separate feed for that playing.
Yeah.
Apparently everyone was like, okay. Because they just didn't get it played. That's why at the end, Kathleen had to be like, all right, here's the thing we're going to do. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they finally played it. Hopefully we'll get it eventually sometime soon.
Some version of it, at least,
Yeah. Some version of it would be nice. Something, anything. Just, I mean, even like those short snippet, they have the Instagram little teasers on for Force Awakens with Finn holding the lightsaber. Like, just anything else but the one teaser we've had would be cool at this point.
Yeah. So, I mean, as we're recording this tomorrow, on Saturday, there's going to be Marvel's Star Wars comics panel. That should be interesting, seeing some of the new series that are going to come out.
Yeah.
You've got the Rebels Season 3 panel, which that should be cool too. We might get...
Thrawn.
Yeah. We might get more info about Thrawn.
It better be Thrawn.
Which, as of now, we have no idea, but,
Yeah, I mean, we really wanted to
what we
record
really
Saturday
should say
night.
is we're really glad that it was announced that Thrawn is going to be in Rebel Season 3.
We really wanted to record Saturday night. We just couldn't make it work with our personal lives. Because sometimes we have those.
Sometimes.
And you have the...
It was weird that
well.
it was announced that Alf was going to be in Season 3 too.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
It just took out Ezra and suddenly it's Alf.
Now that was just Alf. What's weird is it's Alf's head on Ezra's body. That's a little weirder. but
shoved into his clothes, the fat rippling.
But I respect that. We'll see where it goes.
I mean, he's an old man. You have to respect his gumption to be in something so new.
And then the third panel tomorrow in the past, is EA's panel, which they're probably going to talk about Battlefront 2, which is coming out.
They did officially announce there is a
single player mode. That's going to be out in a few days.
2 of the modes.
That's going to be out July 21st.
And it's only for consoles.
Yes, I'm so excited. That'll be out July 21st, so that's in
days.
What is that?
It's in many days. Today's like the 15th. I don't.
4 days, 3 days, 4 days.
3 days. All right.
It's in 3 days. And they're probably going to talk about Battlefront 2, which is coming out next year.
And there's
then
supposedly some other games.
It's not just a Battlefront panel. Yeah, so they'll probably talk about some of the other games they've got. They'll probably talk about...
I mean, we saw that footage, that little teaser of footage of the game where it was like a third-person game. It's a third-person game that was written by the person that wrote Uncharted. Hopefully we'll get a title and like more information about that. That's what I'm interested about with the EA panel.
Yeah, that should be cool. So we've got that. They're going to talk... It's confirmed they're going to talk about the Death Star expansion to Battlefront.
Yes, that should be cool. Yeah,
they're going to maybe see a preview from it. That should be fun. Again, really weird that Alpha's it was announced that Alpha's gonna be in there.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
I don't know why. I guess they're really trying to...
Dave Filoni has my trust. Do what you want. Yeah.
It's just so weird that they would put Alpha in all of these Star Wars properties.
If there's one person that can do it, it's Dave. I mean, he keeps pushing that
Alf should be in all the Star Wars stuff, and I know I just don't understand why. It doesn't seem like a good decision.
I don't know. The snout, it brings you back to New Hope with what's his face, the Elephant Man, not Elephant Man. No, what was the guy with the snout that reported them?
What are you trying to say?
In episode 4.
Oh yeah,
the guy that reported them.
I didn't know what you were
snout.
talking about. Elephant Man.
Yeah, that's Elephant Man, right?
I don't think he's called Elephant
There's
Man.
another guy called There's somebody called Elephant Man in episode 4. I promise.
There's Walrus guy.
Pretty sure there was an elephant person too.
What was his name?
Maybe I'm just thinking about the movie Elephant Man. I don't know.
It was Ponda Baba, but they also called him...
It was Walrus Man.
Walrus Face or Walrus Man or something like that.
But Dave Filoni keeps pushing the book spine photo of this book that's a hardback that has...
Going back to Rebels, you're talking about,
yes.
Right?
And we mentioned this on a previous podcast, but that looks like the spine of one of the Thrawn trilogy books.
Yeah.
Thrawn needs to be canon. I don't care how. He just needs... If he's just mentioned once, then we can have other stuff about him be canon.
Sure.
Just mention him once and he's canon, and then anyone can do whatever they want. Like, it can be written in. They did have the Ahsoka panel today, like the untold stories of Ahsoka.
Yeah, which I didn't read anything about except the book.
They had 3 full storylines that went unused for Clone Wars for Ahsoka.
Really?
Like 3 full arcs of her after leaving the Jedis.
Oh.
Like her going back to Coruscant, trying to lead a normal life. Her, like being down on level 1313 with like some criminals.
Nice.
For a long time, like having a criminal boyfriend and a bunch of stuff, and then like the only reason she came back up to the top level was like Yoda's life was threatened, and there was this whole thing of her trying to help again, and then her coming back, her still trusting Obi-Wan and Anakin, and then like her and Anakin still like seeing each other basically.
Yeah.
And like it almost running up to the point of the Return of the Sith.
Oh, really?
Or Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
They had like full Ahsoka storyline all the way through the movies, basically. Like
crazy.
through 2 and 3.
Yeah.
That just went unused.
Wow, crazy.
So they have a lot of stuff for her. There is a young adult novel coming out in October. They revealed the cover of that today.
Do you remember what it's called?
I think it's just called Ahsoka.
Okay.
Right?
I don't remember. I just remember what the cover looked like.
It has Ahsoka in big words.
It was her holding her white lightsabers, though, which I thought was interesting, which she doesn't have until after Clone Wars.
That's true.
So I don't know if this is post Rebels Season 2, when she's supposedly
Rebels,
dead.
She supposedly died. Well, she was left very ambiguously.
Yeah.
And even Dave in the panel for Ahsoka said, like, I had no intention of her being in Rebels anymore. But after everyone's response to the last episode of Season 2, I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, obviously she shows up in Rebels and she already has those lightsabers. It's not like those lightsabers appeared in Rebels. So we could get the story of those lightsabers. I mean, her getting lightsabers after the fact. She had to hand over her lightsaber, right, when she left?
I can't remember.
I forget how Clone Wars ended with her leaving.
She built new ones. Those are her white ones.
Okay. I mean, obviously, yeah, she built new ones, but so I don't know if she. I mean, I assume she. I don't. How do you? I mean, Dave said he wanted them to be white because she didn't have an alignment. That makes sense, and that makes sense story wise. I don't know. So how do you get kyber crystals? Where do you go to build a lightsaber after not having one and just knowing how to build one? I mean, do you just go back to where you got your first one on your own? Are you allowed to do that? Force won't shun you?
I don't know. I think that's fine. I mean,
I don't know.
Luke built his lightsaber,
but he was all.
Where did he get it? Where did he get his junk? In the middle of the Empire, being at its like.
Where did he build a new one?
Yeah. That's
a good question. Where did Luke get his second lightsaber from?
The one he built in Return of the Jedi, right?
Yeah, the green one.
Yeah, he built it. He built it himself.
Where the hell did he get a kyber crystal from?
I don't
know.
That
you can just only get Jedi those. He's ever known in his entire life just died. He knows nothing about the Force. And is struggling with that through all of the films of like not knowing anything, and he's just like, "Oh, look, kyber crystal, lightsaber." How did he even know how to build a lightsaber?
Whose lightsaber? I remember talking about this a while back in Heir to the Jedi, the book. Did you ever read that?
I did not, because I heard it was just Luke being whiny for a whole book.
It wasn't whiny. It was pretty good.
I need to read it at some point.
But anyway, I read it, and at the beginning of the book, somebody gives Luke some Jedi that dies. Leaves his lightsaber behind, and somebody gives that lightsaber to Luke. And so he just has a second lightsaber. And I don't remember what happened to it or what color it was or any details about it. So I'm wondering if maybe he got the crystal from there, if he still has that thing.
That's true.
But I don't think so. It seems kind of a random thing to throw in there.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's
I assume
totally
off
topic from anything that matters at this point.
I assume he's got, maybe Yoda had some holocrons laying around that he just knew of places to find all that junk.
Yoda just had one in a box somewhere.
I don't know.
Oh, crystal.
Maybe it's from Yoda's old lightsaber. Who knows?
Yoda dies. He's like, oh, sweet.
Finally.
She like smashes his lightsaber and yanks it out.
That's like a Kinder Egg. He just smashes it, and then the crystal just falls out.
Just confetti pops out, and
that's the only thing in there is just the crystal. It just kind of rolls out.
Just like shakes it, and it's empty, and there's just a crystal rattling around.
And bites it with the side of his mouth. There.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, I don't know.
So anyway,
I don't know what the
she builds her own lightsabers.
I don't know what the Ahsoka story.
Maybe it's just diamonds. Maybe that's why it's white. Just uses. Space diamonds.
They're a girl's best friend.
Space diamonds.
Our new song, Space Diamonds. Now I don't know. I don't know if it's going to take place after Rebels or before Rebels.
Whose new song?
Ours.
Our new song. Space Diamonds.
Yeah.
That's our first song. That's where we're starting.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get any better than a title like Space Diamonds. Who's not going to listen to Space Diamonds?
Space Rubies.
No. I assume Ahsoka's story, or at least I want Ahsoka's story from when she left the Jedis to what happened with Rebels. Like, what happened to her? Where did she go? What did she do? And obviously they have a ton of stuff written for that. Thank you for your riveting interest.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. Cool.
That would be nice. Because I don't care what happens after Rebels, because we still have more Rebels to happen. So if they put her in there, then we'll know what happens after Rebels. I want to know how she got to the point of helping everyone again, and like how
she became the informer, and
how
she
dealt with being rejected by like the only thing she knew from childhood, because Plo Koon saved her from being like 4 or less,
right?
And that's like being the only thing she's ever been around, and then being totally rejected by them.
Yeah.
And then having to just, all right, see ya.
Right.
Walk into the distance now. I want that story, but I don't know if we'll get it. So, speaking about books, Aftermath, or I keep saying it wrong, it's Life Debt Aftermath. It's not Aftermath Life Debt. The first book was Aftermath.
Is the series.
Aftermath is the series. The first book was called
Aftermath. Aftermath, Life Debt.
Nope.
And Aftermath.
Nope, Life Debt Aftermath. Yeah, it's really confusing, right? I thought the
So it's Aftermath,
Life
Dead Aftermath,
Empire's
and then Empire's End Aftermath.
Wait, if it's already ended. Empire's End.
Aftermath.
Fini. I don't know.
Empire's End, no more Aftermath.
Math.
Math.
Yes. Empire's End. Math. Done. Decided. That came out. We're recording this on a Friday. It came out this past Monday. I'm about 15% through it, and in good old fashion, Michael has read
0%.
All right, thank you.
Just keeping with tradition.
For reading
I did go back and read one page of Aftermath.
What was that page?
Page that I've already read. I realized that the other day.
Don't you read this on a Kindle?
No, actually, I did. No, that's what I did.
I went back. It should save where you stopped off.
But I forgot. I forgot most of it. So I went back.
I wasn't paying attention for all of the percentage.
I went back like 15 pages and then read up to where I knew that I hadn't read before, and then read one page after that. So
right, I caught up.
One brand new page.
All right, good.
So I've read 15 pages of stuff I've already read.
How far are you through the book?
It's about 50%.
You're only 50%?
Yeah, that's about 50%. So eventually, by the time episode 8 comes out, I'll have read Aftermath. And then I'll start on Aftermath Life Dead.
A year after I've finished Life Dead.
After we've already talked about all
we'll have the podcast episode where I talk about it and you're like, interesting. Thank you for...
And then finally when I've read it, I'll come back and be like, so, I have all these notes.
2 years later.
Right.
On a related note, Hokey Religion is hiring a new co-host. It pays nothing.
No one can do what I do.
No one can
splash beer all over our equipment.
What I not do.
No one can not tweet and splash beer all over our equipment and show up drunk and pee everywhere. I mean,
wait.
Forget the last two.
I don't think that was here.
Oh, wait. That's my other podcast. Oh, no. You son of a bitch.
So... slight Life Debt spoilers. It starts out the book it starts out with an interlude. Jakku, 3 decades ago, which if you think about it, this is 3 decades before.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day.
This is 3 decades before the Aftermath, which is only 5 years after
Return of the Jedi.
No.
Yeah. 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
But I'm sorry. From A New Hope to Jedi was only about 5 years.
Oh, well, yeah. So is that Aftermath is 5 years after Return of the Jedi,
that's about 10 years.
Right?
So if you go 3 decades before Aftermath, that's 20 years before A New Hope.
So that's pre-Clone Wars, probably.
Which is that's a long time.
Yeah.
Well,
that's pre-Clone Wars. I'm pretty sure.
So Luke was born in Revenge of the Sith, and he's like 18, 19, right?
Oh, no, yeah, you're probably right. It's probably either...
So it's about...
right after the Clone Wars, or...
This is like right after Order 66. Like, this is around Revenge of the Sith, right?
This is probably right after the Empire has...
Yeah.
Risen.
So this is on Jakku. Right. Jakku 30 decades ago, with some erudites, some religious followers who live in the desert, which might be part of Lor San Tekka's people as well. And it's
Church of the Force people?
They're just called erudites. That's all it says.
Okay.
So I mean, that's that term means like religious people basically, but they live in the middle of the desert. They kind of fend for themselves. They have their own way of living, and they just live in the desert. Is how it describes them. And it's focusing on a small child who sees this shiny black ship fly overhead, and the ship lands, and he like runs over to where it is, and a bunch of droids get off, and advisor Tashu, the guy from the first book, who is an advisor, like a direct advisor to the Emperor,
Palpatine, yeah,
is there, and the droid set up some equipment. He's like, "Yes, this is the spot. Drill here," and then gets back on a ship and leaves.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the little kid climbs onto a ship, sneaks onto a ship, and flies off with him.
You know what's interesting is Jakku ends up being an Imperial weapons facility, or it's an Imperial weapons facility is on Jakku.
Yeah. Before
the final battle where the Empire surrenders.
Which is what the last book of Aftermath is supposed to be, around the Battle of Jakku.
Okay.
Supposedly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, interesting that Tashu is involved in drilling for something on Jakku. Interesting that a child gets on his ship and flies off with them. So
who is
we'll
this
see
child?
who that child becomes. So there's more to Jakku than what we know, basically.
Right.
There's going to be more to Jakku than what we know. Obviously, at this point, people who got the book in advance have already fully read it and put out reviews. We don't get that privilege. People who probably
every
bought
time
the book,
any book like this comes out, Gizmodo posts an article like within
We've
a
already
couple
read it.
hours,
Yeah.
a day of the book coming out. Like,
And-
here are all the spoilers.
and
From
people who have time to read, unlike me, who bought it on Monday, have probably already finished it by by a week later reading this podcast. So
this is more for us.
This is more for us discussing it.
Or just
and
you.
discussing more. This is for me. So I mean, it's still focusing on the same team of people, with Nora Wexley and Timon and all of those. So it's it's still everyone, and it's focusing also on Leia because the point of the book is Han and Chewie went to go liberate Kashyyyk from the slavery that the Wookiees are under.
Right.
So it's focusing on them. So far, only 15% in. The only interludes have gone from, the main story is focusing on the team of Nora and everybody, and the interludes have been what Leia's doing.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been as random of interludes of like, all right, here's a bounty hunter buying some armor. All right, here's Dengar fighting another bounty hunter. Here's Mon Mothma walking down the street.
Where it's just kind of checking in at other
across the
points
galaxy.
in the galaxy.
Which to me is very important because that's the aftermath. Like that's canon. That's what's happening in the universe. It's affecting Star Wars universe as we know it.
Right.
Which is important. But things that were mentioned in those little small interludes, like the bounty hunter that was fighting Dengar.
Yeah.
Admiral Ray Sloan mentions that bounty hunter's name and says, like, find him for me.
What's his name?
Mercurial Swift, the one that sounds like a space
that's right.
stripper. Yeah. So
Mercurial Swift.
Mercurial Swift. He was actually a dancer and an actor, so he's a space stripper.
You know who that reminds me of? Remember on Harvey Birdman, the guy in the purple who was like
the cape?
the Shakespearean actor. He was a lawyer.
Yeah.
What was that dude's name? Do you remember?
The guy that looked like kind of like Birdman, but like he was purple. Or the guy? Are you talking about the guy with the Hispanic accent?
No, he was different.
Not him.
No, yeah, that was the expensive panty liners for everyone.
That's who I was thinking of.
Did he say panty liners? What was that?
I don't know.
Expensive
Panty garments, maybe.
something like that. Anyway, not that guy. No, the guy. He was the lawyer. Who every time he would question somebody, he would like dance around and twirl. And
Oh yeah. I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
yeah, it was the guy from one of the teachers from Community did his voice.
Go watch Harvey Birdman. It's hilarious.
Oh, it's the best show ever.
I'll
find his name.
But
Keep
anyways,
talking.
so Mercurial Swift, like, this random one-off, you think...
I've got an article part up for ripening pears. How to ripen pears. So I could read through
That's
that.
for your other podcast.
Oh, right, yeah. The one that I peed on every
Yeah, that was the one where you peed on the fruit for a test. I don't know.
Well, it does say here to pee on a pear that could ripen it. It said it could ripen it. It doesn't say. It says you could try. That it
We're
might.
not sure. Please send us the results. Don't
send us the
send
results
send
of
us the pea pear.
Yeah. But wait, there's my pear that I was trying to ripen. Man,
We'll send it back once we confirm it.
once we've eaten it and smelled it and rubbed it all over us.
Anyways, so that one-off interlude in Aftermath with Mercurial Swift, you're like, I don't care about this weird bounty hunter that used to be a dancer actor that's fighting Dengar. I like, who is he? What the heck?
Harvey
It seems
Birdman,
to have been
purple lawyer.
It seems to have been for a reason. Like, he is now going to be involved, and Admiral Ray Sloan is wanting that bounty hunter to do something.
Okay.
So it seems like some of these
these stories are connected.
What we thought were just like these random check-ins.
Yeah.
It seems like some of them are actually for a purpose now. At least that one was mentioned. So I assume like maybe even the guy that found Boba Fett's armor, like we might hear more about that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think there was purpose to them. I don't think they were as random as we thought they were, which is nice. They were part of the story, it seems like, which is cool. But one thing in the first 15%, obviously I haven't gotten through the whole book, so I need to and find this out more. But there's this dude who is Admiral Ray Sloan is the face of the Empire, but not the one getting the orders. The orders are coming from Gallius Rex, who is this...
Gallius Rex is his name?
Yeah. Behind the scenes dude, he's in charge. He's basically telling her what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. He's in charge of everything. And he's starting a shadow council to run the Empire in the background. She describes him as very pale. He usually wears his white admiral outfit because he used to be like a fleet admiral. He would wear, like, out in meetings and things that he has to be at, he would wear his white admiral outfit. But like when she just meets him in his quarters, he is wearing just a red hood, like a red cloak and hood. He has various artifacts around his quarters, red tapestries with black lines through it, stuff that sounds
interesting,
stuff that sounds first ordery.
Yeah.
Again, she describes him as very pale, and his eyes are dark like pits in his face, and he's only described as being male. There's no race given with that. So I don't know if he's human or not.
Yeah.
And he's very...
Does it describe any scars?
Not yet. But there is a Battle of Jakku in the 3rd book where he could get some.
Interesting.
This dude sounds the hell like Snoke. His first orders to I almost said Jyn Erso. Wow. His first orders to Admiral Ray Sloan is go save Brindle Hux.
Sweet.
Off of the planet he's on, where he was Hux was a leader, like a leader of an academy. Yeah. Imperial Academy. He brought up children into the academy. He trained children to be stormtroopers and he said, go save Brindle Hux. Children are the future of the Empire. Like he was saying, children are important. Children are the future of the Empire. Without children, like we're not going to have anything, basically.
Nice.
Which, what did the First Order do? They stole children and they trained them up to be First Order troopers and made children, and Brindle Hux was in charge of all of that. So, I mean, obviously I don't know if Gallius Rex is going to end up being Snoke. She does describe Gallius Rex as being he started out in the Empire. He didn't start out at a low rank. Like at the age of 20, he started like in the middle or higher ranks, like just started there. Like, with no reason as to why he would have started there. Okay. And, like, flew up to Fleet Admiral. So she doesn't know why, and there's not a ton of information about him. So, I don't know who he is or what he is or if he's Force sensitive. I mean, he's in charge of this whole operation. Everything from the first Aftermath, he was behind all of it. You saw at the end of Aftermath how it was all his plan, even though he didn't tell anyone that was his plan. Like, he planned it like Thrawn would have. Right. And I even thought it may be Thrawn because he had the white outfit on at the end of Aftermath. I was like, oh, maybe they're putting Thrawn in. But it doesn't sound like that. It's this dude, Gallius Rex. I don't know if he's going to become Snoke. Or if Snoke is behind him. I don't know. But like the First Order was go get Brindle Hux. And children are important. And this dude is wearing a red cloak and hood and like has red tapestries in his quarters. Like, it's the start of... You're starting to see the start of the First Order. Crazy. Which is really crazy. I did read in the little bit that I did read of Aftermath. Yeah. There's this one scene where the informer, what do they call him? The operator. The operator. Yeah, that's Gallius Rex. Are you sure it's the operator or is it? It's operator. Isn't that what they call Ahsoka? No. That's another. That's something with an S. I forget what Ahsoka's name was. Okay. Anyway, the operator is giving them information about. They sent this probe droid down to Akira, maybe, or maybe a different planet. Akiva, sorry. They're trying to survey it to find out if this information they got about an Imperial meeting. Mm-hmm. Is true or not. And the operator's giving them this information and tells them specifically what to do and where to go and gives them orders almost. And Akbar cuts off his communication, like, once they're done, it cuts off the communication, and Akbar is like, I have to think about this for a little bit because he's starting to get this bad feeling in the pit of his stomach that this guy isn't who he says he is, because all of his information. His what? Ahsoka's handle is Fulcrum. That's right. Yeah, so he's the operator. So this guy that's running the Shattered Empire basically is feeding stuff to the... Yeah. He's working both sides to his advantage. Right. He's basically making it seem like he's helping them without helping them. Because every piece of information he's given the rebellion so far has been correct about the Imperials. Correct because he's feeding it. Because he's doing the stuff that he's saying is correct. Right. To make it work out for his good. Like, very Thrawn-esque in planning things so far in advance.
Just playing
with
people.
Stuff.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So just wrapping it up, another thing that came out was a new galactic map, a new canon galactic map that's coming up in a new book. Jakku, I didn't realize this because they finally added more planets to it. Jakku was on it before, but now Hosnian Prime has been added to it from like Bloodline and stuff. Hosnian Prime and Jakku were like right there by each other. They're really close. So where the New Republic resides is super close to Jakku.
Interesting.
So if someone was traveling from Hosnian Prime to go get their daughter trained with the Jedi, a good place to stop would be Jakku to drop her off.
In the Mark Hamill panel that happened today, earlier,
Oh yeah.
someone came up and was asking Mark, I don't forget what the original question was, but he was talking about Rey.
Yeah.
And then the guy that was asking the question was like, yeah, could you tell us her last name?
Well, because Mark was like, what's Daisy's character's name? What's her name?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, Rey. He's like, oh yeah, Rey. And the guy's like, oh wait, what's her last name? Mark was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Wait a minute, you trickster. he realized it.
Yeah.
Trying to pump him for information.
Yeah. Other stuff was added to the new galactic map, like Lothal and stuff, other stuff that's been in canon material. So that's cool. But
Sweet.
Jakku's really super close. So who knows?
The question is Takodana really close to Hosnian Prime? Because that frickin' laser, Starkiller Base's weapon.
Takodana is like Hosnian Prime, Jakku, and Takodana are like a triangle. Like
really?
It's really close.
It's so convenient. It's so ridiculous.
Because they can see the laser. Is that
all of the movie took place in that tiny little triangle.
So did the other.
Where's Dakar?
Movies?
Where's Dakar? Where the rebel base is? Is that on there?
Dakar?
Yeah.
I'm looking now. It is somewhere.
Is it near, like in the Outer Rim?
It's a little further away. It's more towards like it's right near Naboo.
Oh yeah.
It's like right outside Naboo.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's cool that they keep putting out new galactic maps to update where these new planets are that they're mentioning in books and things like that.
Right.
There were some updates, information on the new Star Wars land at Disney, but we will talk about that next episode.
Yep, we're running out of time, and that stuff we can't really talk a whole lot about it because it's more visual. It's not really podcast material anyway. Right?
What, the new stuff at Disney, like the stuff they're adding to Disney? Well, there was a new map.
The only thing that was released was a new map. Basically,
you can see
it's not even a map. It's just kind of concept art.
Yeah, but you can see what they're planning on putting places.
I will say quickly that there is a full-scale Millennium Falcon in that concept art, and I'm hoping that's not just a pipe dream, that it's actually a full-scale Millennium Falcon. Yeah, that you could walk on.
That's going to be such a long line when it first opens to get into.
I will do terrible things to get on there.
And I will make you do them.
No.
Too bad.
No, it's
my line.
It's my choice.
My line.
It's my choice to do terrible things. You can't make me.
All right, this has been Hokey Religion. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Hokey Religion is an ancient weapon. Hokey Religion is an ancient weapon, so no match for a good blaster at your side.
Whip it. Whip it.